Good morning, baseball. It is your boy Adam R. Sports here, coming back at you with my lovely co-host Franklin P. Helmstetter. Frank, how the heck are you? You watch any baseball last night?
I did, yeah. Saw some not so great things, saw some some interesting things. So I'm excited to talk about it, man. Let's get into it.
Yeah. Luckily, the Angels
Yeah.
didn't play last night, so we don't have anything to talk about there.
Oh yeah.
Before we do get into today's video, I'd like to ask that you guys all leave a like on it real quick. It's a great way to start your morning. Wake up, have a cup of coffee. I'm actually sipping on a Starbucks energy drink right now. We aren't sponsored by Starbucks, but we are sponsored by Thrive Fantasy. Take a look there. I'm still on my hot streak. What is it? 5 days in a row where I've made money on Thrive Fantasy. I'm a success story, man. I just keep cashing checks. Yesterday I won $58, and I'm just rolling in the dough. I'm in a new tax bracket. I'm basically Jeffrey Bezos, just with a, I just stream from a closet. That's pretty much the only difference between us. But anyways,
Yeah.
and also subscribe. We hit 2,000 subscribers. It's our first episode post 2,000 subscribers. It is just a fantastic feeling. Thanks all so much for the support. And without further ado, let's get in and start talking some baseball. I feel like the intro went a little long yesterday, so we're going to get right into it today. Like I said, we do record these at night, so sometimes the games aren't all quite finished. We got a tie ball game with the Giants and Padres in the top of the 10th, right now. Very close game going on there. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. The Astros and the Royals got things started with the Astros taking a 5-2 win over the Kansas City Royals. Justin Verlander getting his 11th win of the season. Might be a good candidate to start the All-Star game this year. Pirates and Reds had a nice little doubleheader, which they split. Pirates took game 1 by a score of 4-2, and the Reds took game 2 by a score of 5-1. Phillies with a 5-3 W over the Washington Nationals. We had the Orioles taking a 4-1 win over somebody. They beat somebody. I'm not entirely sure who. It was the Angels, for those of you who don't understand my innuendo there. The Mets destroyed the Miami Marlins. 10-0 victory there. Mercy rule called after 4 innings. That would be nice if that was a thing. Red Sox lost 6-5 to the Yankees despite a dominant performance by Rafael Devers up at the plate, also known as Gerrit Cole's father. Now, we'll talk more about that. We got the Cardinals and the Braves going into extra innings. The Cardinals would win it in 11. Packy Naughton getting his first career save. Angels legend. Pack watch. I love me some Packy Naughton. Tigers win their 5th straight over the White Sox 2-1. Rockies 4-3 win over the Diamondbacks in Arizona. Cubs lost to the Dodgers despite Craig Kimbrell's best efforts to hand his former ball club a victory. And then the Blue Jays get stomped on by the hottest team in baseball right now, the Seattle Mariners, man. 8-3 victory there. Marco Gonzalez getting the W in Seattle. All right, well, heading to Atlanta, let's talk about this man, a guy who's not really a household name as of yet, and that is Spencer Strider. Now, if you haven't heard of Spencer Strider yet, he's having a dominant rookie season. Kind of came out of nowhere, was not a coveted name before this season. A lot of people are touting him a fantasy god, basically, because he was a waiver wire pickup, and now he's one of the best pitchers in the game. Spencer Strider, 9 strikeouts in the first 3 innings. If you're doing your math right, that is the first 9 outs of the ball game were all strikeouts for him against the St. Louis Cardinals. They are bottom 5 in MLB in strikeout percentage. They do not strike out a lot. They make a whole lot of contact over there in St. Louis, and he made them look like I pardon my French, but little bitches. He made the St. Louis Cardinals his bitch last night. Anyways, 12 strikeouts on the season, or on the day, sorry, not the season. Do the Braves have the most underrated young core of guys in the league? Ronald Acuna Jr. is still crazy young. Michael Harris has been a stud this year. Spencer Strider, Kyle Wright, Max Fried. They got a ton of guys there. What do you think? Is this the most underrated young core in the game?
Yeah, it's certainly not talked about too much, I don't think. I don't hear a lot about but when you put it that way, I mean, honestly, man, like they definitely have a bright future. And that's key, man. Like there's so many teams that don't have good farm systems, good prospects for the future. You can name several of those teams, but Yeah, man, the Braves are a successful franchise, and I think they're going to continue to be, especially with those young core guys. And definitely exciting to see, like you said, a pitcher today strike out a team that's notoriously not strikeout batters. So that's great. I mean, exciting stuff, man.
Yeah, and I mean they've gotten rid of a couple prospects too. They traded Christian Pache. He was supposed to be, Ronald Acuna Jr.'s right hand man out there in the outfield. They traded him and Shea Longoliers away over to Oakland, and they've got Matt Olson locked up for a while. Dansby Swanson's going to be a free agent next year, but I don't really see him leaving. I think he's going to re-sign with them. They've definitely got one of the more underrated cores. I when I think of the Braves, I think of a bunch of old dudes. I think of Marcell Ozuna and what's his name, Adam Duvall, and Eddie Rosario, all these older guys, and Freddie Freeman as of last year. But I don't really give them credit, man. They're doing good things in their farm system over there in Atlanta.
Totally.
Now, heading to the marquee matchup of the night. Pretty much all eyes were on this game all night long. Twitter was going wild with it. Yankees-Red Sox in Fenway. I don't know why, but when the Yankees play in Fenway, it just feels it feels different. It feels like a much more special matchup than when they play in New York. Gerrit Cole was on the mound, and before last night, I wasn't really aware of this, but Rafael Devers, man, he absolutely owns Gerrit Cole. It's insane. It's insanity. Last night, 2 home runs off the man, 5 RBIs on the night for Rafael Devers. My question to you, Frank, is Rafael Devers the best third baseman in all of baseball? He's playing like it.
Is he the best? Yeah, I mean, he certainly is, man. That's his performance is top notch. I think you said something about against Gerrit Cole, one of the better pitchers in the American League. Putting up 11, you said 11 home runs and 19 plate appearances. Is that correct?
Yeah, let me find the exact stat so we don't misquote it. But
yeah, totally. Yeah, man. I think he certainly deserves to be the All-Star game this year, starting third baseman, in my opinion. So that would be great. I think he is slated to get that, so that's good. But yeah, man, it's certainly exciting stuff. And I agree with your sentiment as well about it feels more exciting. I think just Fenway has some energy about it that makes those games feel more exciting. So, but despite all that, still not enough to. He was single-handedly scored all the runs for the Red Sox, and they were unable to hold on to that. So that is a bummer for the Sox, but nonetheless, man, great performance.
Yeah, it was 6 career home runs off Gerrit Cole. Sorry, a little overstepped it there. I think it was 6 and not a whole lot of at-bats, maybe 19 at-bats, something like that. But 6 home runs is the most of any player off Gerrit Cole. Matt Carpenter is actually second off Gerrit Cole.
Yeah, because I was going to say 11 would be crazy. But yeah, no, 6, I mean, that's still wildly impressive for someone with the pitching caliber of Gerrit Cole. So that's just kind of a sleeping stat. I didn't really realize he teed off so much, or that Devers has a son. It's crazy.
Yeah,
he pitches
I
for
mean,
the
Yankees. I didn't think he'd be old enough to have a son who can, be the ace of the Yankees rotation. But anyways, yeah, Rafael Devers, man, what a performance! I mean, I'm on the J-Ram for MVP. J-Ram for starting third baseman. J-Ram is the best third baseman in baseball. I'm all over that hype wagon, but my God, man. Rafael Devers making it tough. Last 7 games, 300, 364, 533 slash line, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. Does strike out quite a bit, but he's been pretty consistent too. His last 30 games, 313, 415, 591. He's actually slugging higher in his last 30 games than he is in his last 7. So he's fantastic offensively. Definitely not known for his defense, though. So I think that's what kind of sets him apart, as maybe not the best in the league, but offensively, man, he's probably a top 5 hitter at least in the AL, maybe in all of baseball right now.
Yeah.
A team we talked about yesterday, and I'm going to keep talking about him because I don't know how much more we're going to get to talk about this team. That's the Detroit Tigers. Extend their win streak to 5 games after sweeping the Guardians. They take the first one of this set against the White Sox. 2-1 victory. Their pitching was dominant, and they got just enough offense to get it done. Is this pitching staff good enough to be a competitive team if they can get the bats going? And little caveat to that, if that's the case, should they sell off some of their big arms, or do you think they should kind of hold them together, try to compete in the next few years? What do you think?
I don't know. I really do think that, regardless of how this season goes per this particular year, I think the Tigers are trending upwards. So it's hard for me to say that I'd like want them to, sell a bunch of their good arms when they could definitely be competitive in the next few years. But yeah, I mean, if that's what it takes, I think ultimately, man, like teams really just need to sit with where they are, evaluate weigh the pros and cons and see if that's best for the organization. And I know this kind of conversation because as an Angels fan, that's not really something that typically happens. So, I think that they are trending upwards though. I mean, they've won 7 out of their last 10. I think they're 7-3 in the last 10. So yeah, man, it's
Yeah.
exciting to see they're really not even that far from the White Sox in this division. So yeah, man, I think the next few years look bright for them. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it would be smart for them to maybe sell off some of those arms?
I mean, I'm going through the numbers right now. The guy with the lowest FIP on the team is Andrew Chafin, and he's in his mid 30s. So,
Hmm.
guys like Andrew Chafin, I wouldn't be opposed to them selling off to try to get some maybe some younger arms in, or maybe some younger bats. Missing Casey Mize is going to be a big hit to them. He's going to be gone for a little bit. But overall, man, they've got a lot of guys. They've got what 14 pitchers, qualified pitchers, with a FIP under 4. So they have just
Wow.
been, yeah. I mean, they've been really good, man. You really can't argue with it. Their pitching is good enough to compete. I'll answer my own question there. I think yes, if they had a good offense, this could be a competitive team. Like there's competitive teams that have much worse pitching staffs than the Detroit Tigers.
Oh,
They're
totally.
just historically bad offense. So I'm a big believer in the Tigers. I really want the Tigers to be competitive. I think they're tied with the Angels for the third longest current playoff drought. So it's good to see them trending in the right direction. Pretty much feels like all these formerly bad teams are trending in the right direction, except the Angels. So
Yeah,
um, yeah, but we'll have to see. I think they just got to be smart at the trade deadline. I don't think it's time to blow everything up and I don't want to trade any guys that they have control over. But a guy like Andrew Chafin, I could see him moving. Outside of that, I don't see a whole lot of these guys getting moved around at all.
totally. Yeah.
Okay, well, moving on to we'll talk a little bit about the Angels game, but we're not going to talk about the team, the Angels. We're going to talk about Camden Yards, man. Formerly one of the most beautiful ballparks in all of baseball, until it was desecrated last offseason by God knows who. I don't know the backstory on why they did this, but they just took a chunk out of left field and moved it like 40 feet back. It was like Patrick Star and SpongeBob. Why don't we take the wall and push it somewhere else? It is
Yeah.
just, this is the first time the Angels have played in Camden Yards since these changes have been made. And it's awful. It is so bad. In the Angels Orioles game last night, there were 9 expected home runs per Statcast. Were 9 home runs that would have been a home run in at least one ballpark. I will say one of them was a Mike Stefanik one that would have only been a home run in one ballpark, and that's Wrigley Field. So maybe say 8. 8 of them were like solidly like 9 out of 30 plus MLB parks it would have been a home run at. Is Camden Yards, did it go from one of the most hitter friendly ballparks in all of baseball? Is it now the most pitcher friendly ballpark in all of baseball? I honestly, I don't know. I'm
I
at a
mean,
loss. What do you think?
yeah, I mean the vast majority of hitters I think are right-handed just statistically. So if you think about like, most of them, I mean there's some guys that can spray, but most of them, their power is kind of pulling the ball, is what I've seen. So I think that definitely factors in, when you're pushing the wall 40 feet back, uh, at how effective, close home runs. Because I mean, how many rows is that? You got to think about that too. Like, if there's a home run even like 5 rows back, say at the old Camden Yards. I don't even think that's anywhere close at this
Oh, it's
point.
barely a
So
warning. I don't even know if it is a warning track shot.
yeah, I mean that's a huge and aside from that too, I also just think it looks hideous.
Oh, it
So
looks
I think
disgusting.
that ballpark, was one that I still want to go, obviously, but it was a beautiful ballpark to me. I wanted to, go there. I still do, but that's kind of just a shame, bro. I don't really understand the reasoning behind it, but it certainly does make it a lot more pitcher friendly. Which I don't know if they did that for. I mean, they have to hit there too, so that's something they have to factor in. But I don't know what went into that decision making process. But you still got,
Yeah.
these right field walls in Yankee Stadium that are super short. So and that's just part of playing there. So I just don't understand why that has to change per se. But
Yeah,
it's a
I
shame, man.
mean,
I don't like it.
maybe they're planning on signing some big name pitching free agents, and they wanted to give them a reason to pitch there because it's enticing. I mean, Alex Cobb signed with the Giants this offseason. I don't know if this is actually one of the reasons, but it's nice pitching in a ballpark like Oracle or now Camden Yards or what's it, Comerica Park, any of those with big dimensions because you're not going to allow a lot of
Totally.
home runs, especially if you have good outfielders like Cedric Mullins, man, just dominated the Angels
Mhm.
last night. Like without Cedric Mullins there, the Angels would have been in that game, but this dude tracked down everything in those gaps. And when you have a hitter friendly ballpark like Camden Yards is now, man, it is if you have good outfielders, not a lot of balls are going to be dropping in that outfield. So I would
Yeah.
say it's the most hitter friendly ballpark in I don't know because I honestly think it might be the most pitcher friendly in all of baseball because no other ballpark has that crazy of a left field line. I don't think it's even close. Like it's ridiculous, and that wall is ridiculously tall as well.
Do you know how deep it is in left?
Let me look it up.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I just one thing I'll say about the Orioles really fast though is I just realized, dude, they would be in second place in the AL Central,
Yep.
which is probably indicative of just the AL Central not being so great. But the Orioles are trending upwards, man. It's kind of exciting to watch. But unfortunately, the East is so good; they're 20.5 games back. So, but
Yeah, it is the deepest left field corner in all of baseball, 384
okay,
feet.
wow, that
Um,
is really deep.
yeah, that's ridiculous. Wow.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't like that.
and it
I
just
don't know.
looks ugly. I just don't know. Like the dimensions are so off now, and it was such a like I would have probably had it as like a top 10, maybe like sneaking into the top 5 ballparks in all of baseball. And I it's hard to say a left field wall makes it that much uglier, but it really does. It's an eyesore now.
They could have done. I think they could really revamp it. Even though I don't like the dimensions, they could make it look better. And somehow they just made it look so hideous. It's like it's just a sore
Yeah,
thumb. Sticks out, man. I don't
yeah.
know.
I don't like it one bit, man. And as a batting practice aficionado like myself, not going to
Ah,
catch any home run balls out there either. It's just
yeah,
bad. It's bad for the game of baseball. The city of Baltimore does not want baseball to exist. Confirmed. They just hate baseball. They hate baseball. They hate children. They hate Mike Trout. They just hate everything. That it was an attack
yeah,
on our democracy. That's what it was.
absolutely. It's got to be what it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, we do want to end on a little bit of a somber note. Probably should have put this earlier in the show, but you know what? I do what I want. It's like the
Yeah,
Andy Milonakis show. It's my show. I'll do whatever the hell I want. So,
exactly.
Padres versus Giants, man. We already talked about it's not quite over yet, unless it ended while we were recording here. Oh, I think it did. It looks like the Padres walked it off. So Padres won. But they had another big blow. We know we had Tatis out for, still out currently. Machado was out for a little bit. Now Jurickson Profar, man, really scary injury. I'll put it up here on the screen because it's kind of, I mean, it's a little tough to watch. So if you don't, want to see this, but he had a full speed collision with C.J. Abrams and got a knee to the jaw, and it like gave him some whiplash and just a scary injury. He was able to get up and start walking off the field, but as he was walking off the field, man, just kind of passed out. and I hope he's all right. We haven't gotten any injury update or anything, but prayers up to Jerickson Profar, man. I really hope he's okay. Anytime you see a scary injury like that, you always kind of hold your breath. I heard from some beat writers that it was like deadly silent in there, like more silent than they've ever heard an MLB stadium before, because that's a serious, when a player passes out on the field, just walking off the field, that's scary, man. That could be long-term brain injury or something like that.
Totally. And yeah, man, it kind of reminds me of, I can't remember who it was, but some Marlins pitcher got hit with a comebacker a few years ago, and probably a decade ago at this point. It's pretty crazy. But you could see, you could see in the guy's eyes, like it just looked like he was just like staring into nothingness, like there's like lights out. So anytime that kind of thing happens or someone collapses as they have some sort of head injury, like you're not talking just injury anymore. You're talking like, okay, this is like this could be like a potentially like very dangerous situation. So yeah, man, it's really scary, but he put a thumbs up getting carted off the field. Really hoping the best for them and Jurickson, and I'm glad the Padres could get the win. Hopefully they kind of saw that as a positive for getting that win for him. So yeah, man, I hope he's not out for too long. But
yeah, man, me neither. It's it's tough to see, and they've already been riddled with injuries, so they're still fighting through it though. Still in the thick of things in the NL West as well as the NL wildcard race. So
yeah.
Well, anyways, that is going to do it for us today here at Good Morning Baseball. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button down below and subscribe for more daily MLB content. Thanks again so much for 2,000 subscribers. Don't forget to sign up for Thrive Fantasy at the link in the description. It's a great way to make some money if you know ball like I do. If you don't know ball like I do, maybe it'll be a little tougher for you. But maybe slide into my Twitter DMs. I'll shoot you some picks. How about that? I'll shoot you some picks as long as you sign up and use promo code NMR to get a 100% match of your first deposit up to $100. So appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for joining me once again, Frank. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks again so much for watching.